Everybody, it's the Common Sense of Buster coming at you with another video. And in this video, I know it's going to sound kind of strange in the beginning, people, to you about how is this related to AMC, GME, and other meme stocks. But I promise you by the end of this video, you will understand what I'm trying to say, okay? Now, let's talk first about the first American dream. Now, the American dream, and I'm looking at my grandpa's picture right there, was that if he worked hard enough and he worked long enough, that one day he could retire and he could enjoy his life for the rest of his life. And the more time passed, the more people realized that that wasn't true. That no matter how hard you worked, you always had to work just a little bit more just to stay ahead. And those that could finally begin to climb the ladder of success, there was always those above them that would push us back down and keep us in our place. And it's not long now that we've realized that the American dream of working hard all your life is frivolous because it leads to nothing. And the American dream has died. But there was a new American dream born, okay, people? The dream that said, hey, if you put your money in the stock market and you followed the simple law of supply and demand, that when people wanted to buy a stock, then the stock would go up, and if somebody wanted to sell a stock, the stock would go down. The basic principles that we learned when we first started learning the stock market. And we believed that if we put our money into the stock market and we adhere to the principles, and that everything would be all right and we would be able to make life-changing money. But we're finding out now that that dream is dead also, people. They are cutting off every avenue of any hope of anybody ever succeeding. All they want to do is let the market mafia drain the peasants till they're dry and they're beaten to the ground. Now, two American dreams. And if you're somewhere else in the world, it's the same dreams over there. All right. Here's the point, people. If this is allowed to continue, then it will be your fault. Now, let me justify that before some people get mad and want to click off, okay? Where does Ken Griffin get his power? And when I say Ken Griffin, I mean all them some bitches. Doug Sifu, all right? Wolverine, Viking, Jane Street, Susquehanna. Where do they get their power? It comes from the politicians that allow it, all right? And that every time a regulator wants to step in, like Gary Gensler's trying to do and regulate them, the politicians, that is their power, try and do everything they can to stop it. But now let me ask you this. If Ken Griffin and the market makers and all them are the head, and the politicians are simply puppets that they pull the strings to, then who gives the politicians their powers? Let's look at the Declaration of Independence when it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that there should be an equal playing field in our markets as well, could have been written in there. Everybody should be equal in the market, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But here comes the main part. To secure these rights, governments are instituted upon men, deriving their power. Whose power? The government's power. Where does the government derive its power? From the consent of the governed. So, if it's true that Ken Griffin is the puppeteer and he pulls the strings of the politicians, then what are we doing giving power to these politicians to allow them to even be on his stream. Now that you know that you have the power, the next part of the Declaration says that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, what ends? When it does not provide life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for its people, then it's the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and institute a new government. Now, everybody likes that one right there. Them Second Amendment people love that part right there. We got the right to the militia and we'll take this government down. That's not what they're talking about right here, people. They're saying that when the government does not provide us life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it is our responsibility to stand up against them and to let our voice be heard and to overthrow them if necessary through election. That's why it's important to realize that the Constitution says that first you have the right to the freedom of speech. To do what? If necessary, rise up and tell them enough is enough. And if the free speech don't work, and if the government refuses to change, then you have a right to have and bear arms against that government. All right? Doesn't start with bearing arms. Let people listen. We can take the power from King Griffin's hands if all we have to do is send word to these politicians. Enough is enough. Either you take him out or we taking you out of office. And here's a list that I'm talking about. This is the open letter to Congress. A lot of people's already saw this, so I'll keep it short. But basically, it's telling our politicians that we cannot and will not support a candidate any further that supports criminals like Ken Griffin and Citadel Securities. It's over with for y'all. If you want to support Ken Griffin and you stand beside him, then you will be taken out of office. We will take you out of office. All right? Representative Loudermilk, Representative French Hill, Representative Hunzinga, Representative Ann Wagner, and so on and so on. This list right here is what I'm talking about. Now, this is the Twitter handles of all these people. And we need to send a note on Twitter. Just go to the link, comment down below, and you will find the link to the open letter to Congress. Read it and you'll understand. And this is how we let them know. Either A, you cut Ken Griffin loose, or B, you will lose the elections because nobody's going to support somebody that stands next to these market mafia sons of bitches anymore. Your days are numbered. You're out of here if you stand with Ken Griffin one more time. So with that, go check out the pinned comment down below. It's got the link to the open letter and a few other links. Love y'all. Be blessed. See you in the next video.